The Southeast is a hotbed for ticks, which can pose a serious risk to your health. Well, here to share more about a condition that causes a rare allergy that could change your diet forever is Dr. Emily Cambell, Assistant Professor of Pediatrics at MUSC. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And we think about ticks, we think about Lyme disease, but this is actually, this allergy that we're talking about is caused by a different tick.
Correct. So
Okay.
alpha-gal syndrome is caused by a bite by the Lone Star tick. We don't exactly know how it happens, but about 2 to 6 months after a tick bite, people can develop an allergy to alpha-gal, which stands for alpha-1,3-galactose, which is
a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, which is a sugar that lives on mammalian meat or the cells of mammals. And so you develop an allergy to mammals, so cow, pork, lamb, deer, anything along those lines.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, but this is rare, right? So not everybody who gets bitten by a Lone Star tick is going to necessarily develop alpha-gal syndrome.
Correct. It is actually increasing in prevalence. So the CDC came out with recent statistics that estimate that up to 500,000 people in the United States have alpha-gal syndrome.
So how does it manifest? What are the signs that now you're allergic to red meat?
Great question. So it's a little bit different than a classic food allergy, and I find it helpful to compare and contrast them. So when we think of a food allergy, we typically think of a kid who has a peanut allergy, right?
Sure.
And as soon as they eat something that has a peanut in it, or usually within 30 minutes, they can develop hives, they have an itchy throat, or they throw up, they start wheezing, all of those things. But alpha-gal is a little bit different in that it tends to come out about 2 to 6 hours after you eat something that has a mammalian product in it. And so oftentimes the most common thing that I hear is, I had a burger or I had a steak for dinner and I woke up in the middle of the night feeling really nauseated, I threw up and I had hives all over me. And oftentimes people will think, it was just a bad burger, but then it starts happening again and again. And if that sounds familiar to you, it's something that you should discuss.
Now, since you're a professor of pediatrics, if a child gets bitten by one of these ticks, is there a chance for them to grow out of that allergy as they grow up? And then same goes for an adult. Is there any way that this allergy can weaken over time?
Yes, and that is the great news, is that you can outgrow it in that. But the most important thing is to avoid tick bites. So every time you get bitten by a tick, we think that your sensitization kind of re-ups. And so making sure that if you're outside, you're wearing long protective clothing, you're looking for ticks, all of those things in order to help hopefully lose your sensitization over time.
And what is the most common way for people to get bitten by ticks?
So most common would be outdoor, walking through brush or grass with exposed skin. So ticks can't fly, so they can't fly and land on you, so they have to be brushed up against you.
Oh, they do, okay. And then when you notice that you do have a tick that is latched onto your skin, how's the best way to remove it?
The best way to remove a tick is to use some tweezers and make sure that you firmly grab the head and directly pull straight up to remove the tick.
Yes, and they can really hold on too. They grip, and so, but removing the head is the most important part. And so often they tend to pop in the process, which is really gross, everybody, but it's just part of living in the South. And you say that these Lone Star ticks that contribute to the alpha-gal syndrome are growing in numbers here in the Southeast?
They are, and they're starting to move up into the Midwest, but their main cluster is down here in the Southeast.
Okay, all right. Well, some wonderful information. So I think parents out there, it's still summertime, kids are out playing. Just make sure that you give your kids the once over as they come inside from the outdoors. Make sure that they don't have any ticks attached to them. And same goes for us as adults. Just always have hopefully a second party that can maybe give you the up and down, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Cambell. Great to talk with you.
Thank you.
We're back after this.